What's that sound?
What's that sound? What's that sound? It's the MOBcast.
What about Daddy Elon?
Oh, yes. That's a great
He's going to kill free speech by allowing free speech.
He's going to put a chip in your brain.
So he officially bought Twitter 2 days ago, right?
Yep.
I don't know when that's... I feel like it takes some time for that to become official to the market and whatnot, but that's a big deal.
You think he just writes a check for $44 billion?
Yes.
Is it one of the big lottery checks?
He just shows up with one of his rockets and gives it to him.
Could you imagine having just a tiny little checkbook, just writing? I don't think that many zeros. I don't think you could write that out on that small of a check. I feel like it'd be too small.
Probably not. I actually saw something. I think it was yesterday. Elon Musk is projected to be by the time he's old and decrepit, he's projected to be the first trillionaire.
That's disgusting.
That makes me sick. Hate that. That makes me sick.
Actually, right? I think it was Joe Rogan. I was listening to him, and he said something like, those are all Forbes top 500, whatever it is. All those people who have to record their earnings and how much they're actually worth. We don't ever think about the people in Saudi Arabia, the people who own all the oil, who don't have to give a shit about what other people think, how rich they actually are.
I was in Dubai, and our tour guide pointed out that he was we were in the airport, and he was like, "You see that car?" And we were like, "Yeah." It was just a Porsche Cayenne. Oh, it's probably his beater.
Sorry.
It had the
beater
starter car
number 9. It had the number 9 license plate, and in Dubai, for some reason, the lower the number of the license plate, the more expensive it is. So people will pay millions of dollars for the fucking license plate. Anyway, he was like, "See that car? That's one of the Sheik's cars." So he's in the airport right now, and I was like, I can't say anything bad or at all, because then, they built that city out of the dirt and the sand. So props to him, I guess. But powerful, scary people, I think.
Dubai is the city of sandcastles.
Money is I get it, the old phrase that says money can't make you happier. I don't think it could hurt, but
it can build your rockets.
You can run a marathon without shoes, but shoes really help,
That's a great analogy for it. Yeah.
Imagine you're just I have stupid money. I'm going to launch my car into space because why not?
Just because. Well,
half the people in the United States live paycheck to paycheck. I digress.
It's very sad. No, you're absolutely right.
1% compared to the rest of the world.
That's another great podcast topic we could have, is the terrible living that a great percentage of our own Americans face every single day.
And that kind of ties into this topic as well. But Nathan, take it away.
No,
what is this topic?
I was going to say, Brad was saying, and it was a great time with Elon, just because, he rules kind of a big part of the technology landscape. And you mentioned it, would the idea of putting chips inside of your heads.
Yep.
And that
Neuralink.
Yeah,
Neuralink.
All cybernetic kind of enhancements, and that kind of deals with the topic we all wanted to talk about today, and that is transhumanism. For those who aren't aware of what that is, per the Oxford Dictionary, it is defined as the belief or theory that the human race can evolve beyond its current physical and mental limitations, especially by means of science and technology. Now, I kind of see that as basically the idea of which emphasizes the ideology to kind of basically enhance your own body or your lifestyle through the use of advanced technology and science. And that Neuralink is a very, real possibility or idea that kind of just lands us right into this topic here. And so I guess I can ask you, do you ever put a chip inside your head at all or anything like that?
Mike, before we get into that, I just want to preface this whole conversation by saying that Nathan, Jordan, and I are all experts in this field.
Master graduates.
And
and Michael knows absolutely nothing. So he's coming into this blind. We all took a very extensive, rigorous class in college together.
Brutal.
All about transhumanism. And
I had to take the family history class, and it was awesome. I got to know my people off for the boat from Italy. They weren't transhumanists. They were probably farmers or like gypsies or something.
He has nothing to add to this. So I just wanted to preface this conversation by saying that, and we can go back into the putting the chips in our heads.
No, Brad, that is a very crucial piece that needed to be said. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Educate me. Pretend I'm a listener. And all you 15 people that listen, and hey, milestone, 50 followers on Instagram. Most of them are robots. Also transhumanism, probably.
Take it.
It's the AI.
So
yeah.
we genuinely do appreciate that, no matter how many are fake or Russian spyware. But
no, but to bring it
from
back,
our hearts to you, thank you.
We appreciate all the support and any ongoing support for the MOBcast. So anyway, back to chips in your head. So we talked about it a little bit before, Michael, and I know we've talked about it a lot, but the game Cyberpunk 2077, right? Kind of a trash fire in the beginning. That's we're not talking about games here. So in the game, you're able to basically have a chip inside your head it's basically like a central nervous like system for your entire body. It can relay like health and like it can enable you to learn new things and new skills and even like finding solutions to really anything that much quicker and easier in like an instant. And so that's kind of, I think, the one side of like, are these chips a good thing? But that's kind of like the fantasized sort of side of it.
Yeah, I was going to say too, like before we get too crazy, like there's actual uses that could be used like pretty quickly for like older people, like dementia or like that. I went on Neuralink's website earlier today and looked at it. Like that was one of the first things they listed was how they want to use it for people who actually have like deficits in real life instead of just like enabling people to be better than they already are.
That's really
just people get a little too crazy.
Yeah. Imagine though, if you think about that, like all the good that could come out of it. So you have dementia, or even you're just 85 and you get confused and you wandered off. And you can push a button and you instantly remember who you are and where you live. That's nuts.
Whoa.
Eventually, it could probably cure paralysis to some degree if they could make your nerves fire again. So yeah, there's huge benefits. But to play devil's advocate, there's something called it's the libertarian idea of transhumanism. So it's like, yeah, do it, but for money, which is kind of how
corporate greed.
The current United States healthcare system is set up. So what they're saying is basically, okay, we have this amazing technology, but most people can't afford it. It's reserved for like the super rich. So at some point, now the divide isn't just money, it's ability in general. And it's not on like a scale of this guy who's poor has 100 IQ points and this guy who's rich has 150 IQ points. It's like the poor dude is just a normal guy. And the rich dude can literally download any skill that he wants, and he has superhuman strength. And, that's a scary, terrible road we go down in the other direction. But
we talked about that in class a little bit, too. Like, the gatekeeper of money is... Yeah, you wouldn't know. But, yeah, you're 100% like... You could have a child who goes to Stanford, right? Already probably pretty well off to be able to go there. Or you could have a kid who just downloaded the new software into his head and is already smarter than Elon Musk or any genius you can name just because his dad's a billionaire. And like that's just going to create leaps and bounds for the rich versus people who can't afford that. Imagine being on like version 1 of this when it's like 50 years down the road, and someone who's on version like Windows, the old Windows versus now. Like that's the comparison.
I'm on Windows 7 right now.
Buffering versus Windows 95 up here.
But that brings up a good point, because I feel like that creates a lot of ethical issues. Like
so much social diversification, like
even more than we have today.
Right? Yeah.
That it literally becomes like a cyberpunk-esque, society where there's like the top of the rich corporate greed and like super rats, and That's
Yeah, you have like the
High-tech
scrappers that are just
Yeah.
are
the nomads.
looking for whatever technology they can use to enhance themselves, to the people that don't believe in using it at all, to
Yeah.
the people that are just leaps and bounds above everyone else. Like, it would create so many weird classes, from
Didn't the
super
creator of the game
poverty-stricken
even
to super rich.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But didn't the creator of Cyberpunk itself, he's like, yeah, it's a video game and yeah, it's supposed to be fun, but he's like, this is a warning, not like a we don't want this to happen kind of deal. I think
fun.
I saw an interview.
Yeah, no, and exactly just like you said, I read that the idea of transhumanism is it's not just the concept or idea of it. It's like almost, just like you said, it's almost like predicting what's going to happen or what things are going to be like in the future. And then obviously, it's kind of blown up in different aspects, but it's a real thing. I know some like AI is limited to what it can do right now, but I feel like it's only going to get bigger and better and maybe iRobot-esque one day. But
It's
too, that it might not just be like digital and like mechanical enhancements, like a chip in your brain or whatever, but it might be we're going to use technology to edit ourselves. So you might be biological, but you have, and this is going to sound very eugenicsy, but it literally is. You can edit your genes to do.
Before, I was just gonna say, like, before we get to the whole eugenics and bio modifications, I think we should wait for Matt to get on. He'll be joining us here shortly, hopefully. I know he'll have some strong opinions on biology and modification of
for sure
and stuff.
Yeah,
so
that's a good point. We'll hold off.
I was
know
gonna
a lot more about that than I would. That's for sure.
I was gonna say I thought it was pretty crazy. When you were talking about the limitations of AI, have you guys seen? It's that robot that I can't remember who designed it, but it's essentially that bald
Boston
lady.
Dynamics.
Yeah.
Oh.
No,
You're
it's
talking
the
about dog. Yeah, the other.
no, those are terrifying. But, it's that like bald lady that like you can like.
She goes on and does like interviews and stuff.
Oh,
I've seen
yes,
that.
yeah, I do know what you're talking
She's
about.
speaking to that motivational speaker.
Yes.
I can't remember his name, but he's got like gigantism, and they're like, well, do you think like robots will ever be able to feel? And she's like talking about it like to the point where she's like, I think it's very important that we understand humans and how they think, and like
she said
just
some
like
really
adapting
creepy
to
stuff.
that. Yeah, and it's
Like,
like
ooh.
like they both like laughed it off, but like
Like,
right.
No.
It's
cut her.
like limitation, like are there really limitations to it? Or I mean, they're supercomputers just like us essentially, so I don't think there's limitations to it.
Kind of bouncing off that, just like a weird comment. I think I got this from like Adult Swim or something like weird. Like it might have been Rick and Morty or something. But it was a theory that one day the machines will take over and become like our overlords. So like you should live every day like right now, like saying sorry to Siri, or like talk when you're saying to Alexa, like make sure you're not calling her a B word or like anything bad. Just so like if you comment anything on Twitter, that you won't be on a little check mark or checklist of people that they need to kill off.
Nah, we got free speech now. We're good on Twitter.
Thanks, Elon.
Thanks, Daddy Elon.
Techno King. He's called himself that. I think
I
he's
don't
like,
love a lot of what
I
he
don't know.
does. I will just say that. But aside from the point of technology,
I like engines, not electric motors. So I know electric motors are the future. I digress.
They
Anyway,
are.
They go quick, fast.
I have many positives of those, but we won't get into that. Besides, so I know, like, I won't talk too much about the genes sort of stuff, but I know on another positive note, further down the road, maybe with prosthetics, how far they've really come since probably, World War I, or since whenever they were first kind of thought up, is maybe one day being able to basically like cybernetically fuse them with your actual cells, and then so it's really just becomes a full extension of your body once again, like a true arm. And I feel like that's a thing that can really be great, and then it turns to the side that's like a super robot with super strength and can go very bad too. But you know,
yeah, if you want, I can dig up my note cards where I did my terrible cookie cutter speech about that.
Oh, senior year.
But no, I mean, like that was like because I originally went to school for physical therapy, and that was my whole transhumanism path that I took through that class, was the whole idea of prosthetics and how like they were originally used to just get everyone back to like a level playing field for people with disabilities. But yeah, like, I mean, we're definitely like getting to a point where we're hooking these prosthetics up to our nerves and actually being able to control them with our bodies again. So
that's nuts.
Again, like you just keep going up and up and up until it just gets so crazy.
I think we do have actually an interesting conversation to have with that, like prosthetics taking over being more than what you are, because we had a runner at Mount Union who was very good. He ran in the Paralympics, I believe, and he had prosthetics, and he beat the crap out of everyone in D3. I think we had a conversation, with actual legs. And I don't want to take anything away from him, because I actually think what he did was amazing. I just didn't know if you guys had any other thoughts about like if it was helping him, if it's harder. I really don't know enough about it. Like, I was always interested in it too, because I was like, okay, he's winning a lot. He's in the Olympics. Is this fair? I don't know.
I've heard, I think Oscar Pistorius, he was the one real famous Olympic runner with the prosthetic legs, right? I think, and there's some allegations against him, whatever. I think that was him. But I watched, I think him like running in a race against people with biological limbs, and I don't think he did amazing, but you could see just the strain he was putting into his body. Like, I feel like those, and I can't speak to this because I have biological legs that, well, weren't very good at cross country, but you could see the strain in this
you were
guy.
fantastic.
I was the captain because I was on the team for all 4 years. But you can see the strain in this guy as he's sprinting. Like, it's his whole body is into it. But if you look at, like, Usain Bolt, it looks so natural. So I think we're approaching a point where our technology is going to become completely equal with biological limbs. Then it's going to take off and be better in every aspect. So the question is, when do people make the leap from using prosthetic limbs when they have to versus choosing to put a prosthetic limb in place? This arm is basically going to guarantee me I can throw a ball as far as Tom Brady.
I want turbojets on my elbow to punch into somebody. That's when it gets a little sketch. Yeah,
that was also that was also a big topic that we had in our class as well. Just the impact on sports and how, like, I mean, obviously, like, it's just like any other performance enhancing drug or anything. Like, you obviously can't have them perform with regular biological athletes, but put them in the league of their own, and who's to say that doesn't become more competitive and more entertaining because of the new speeds that are reached, because of legs being so much stronger, or new miles per hour on a fastball. But also it could cause safety issues as well for boxing, for combat sports, stuff like that. Like,
I think it would become more like
ways to go about it.
I would think it would be more like NASCAR at that point. You wouldn't be like you wouldn't be supporting the player. You would be supporting the brand who made the player. It's going to take a lot of skill to like actually use that and do things right and correctly. But it'd be like, oh well, Ferrari's new leg can make you run 300% faster than a normal human. Watch us at our new track meet.
That's nuts to think about. Also, not even just for like and this is kind of getting out there a little bit, but Ferrari designed components for athletics. Now imagine you're in like the acting model scene and your body is designed by Versace. Like, think about the upgrades that you could get, and you wouldn't even have to look like a person. Exactly. You could be like I do know somebody that, given the chance, would probably turn themselves into a cat person. I mean, I'm just saying, like, bang, bang.
Back to your point, Jordan, about the sports, because it reminded me, it would be, get off from the cat ladies. It would be kind of cool to see, like, an underground kind of, like, ring of sports. I feel like if we ever got to that point where it's like, well, people are unsure if it's, like, legal or illegal, and then it becomes like a whole underground sort of like deal.
God, every event would be a fight to the death.
Yeah, it'd be like a fight club, but we don't talk about fight club.
About it.
Yeah, so
right.
Same wavelength.
I also think it's kind of cool. It's like the race between what we can do in medicine versus what you can do in with mechanics. Like talk about like if someone has like something wrong with their body, being able to regrow it from like a leaf. I have no idea how they actually do it. Versus like putting a new body part on. I think it's kind of interesting to see like the race between those two. Which one's actually going to be more productive in the end?
It would almost be like, do you think like tragic car accident? Someone has to come into the hospital. It's like, do we just take off their leg and give them a new one, or do we repair? And it's like, then does that become a choice or a forced option? That opens a whole new door of ethical issues. That's really interesting.
In the libertarian side of things, if you can afford it, they'll give you the crazy body part. But if you can't, they'll give you a peg leg.
Back to money. It all comes back. Funny how
I'd hate for that to happen. There has to be, and I'm not making this into like a medical critique of the way we do things. I think a lot of people agree, but
the American healthcare system's garbage. But yes,
facts. But it's just that's the scary aspect of the whole. This whole conversation stems back to everything you'd be doing to get these augmentations is probably a medical procedure. We're so close. I mean, if you think about it, we're kind of all already transhumanists, because if you carry a cell phone, you have the entirety of the human collective knowledge in your pocket. You can call any person you want on Earth. You can do amazing things with your phone. Now, it's not attached to your body, but
it
kind of is.
Exact. Apple Watch.
You take it everywhere you go.
Elon Musk said the exact same thing.
AirPods, it's just...
It's kind of like, I think contacts,
Exactly. Well, I looked up today, like, I was trying to find, like, the earliest forms of, like, real transhumanism, like an example I could bring up, and I thought of, like, the Google glasses that they were trying to make big.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that.
For, like, wearable technology.
Like augmented reality, basically?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I also thought of those Snapchat glasses, if you guys remember those. You had, like, the app inside the glasses, you could take pictures wherever and upload to Snapchat.
They only gave those out to certain people, I thought. Yeah. Or remember the Google Cardboard when you could slide your phone into that cardboard thing with the lens, and it was like VR, but like, and then like you have the Oculus, right? Like that thing. I was skeptical until I put it on and played Beat Saber. Holy shit!
You can live inside that thing.
So
that is very cool.
That is one thing I wanted to touch on with transhumanism. As like Brad mentioned before, we all took this class. One thing I kind of focused on was the idea of virtual reality and how it may play a part in the future, and like what it looks like now and what it could be. And like Michael, you were saying, that Oculus is sick. Like I've only used it a handful of times, and it is unreal. Like how that basically just creates a whole new world. And it's the idea that, what will that look like in like decades? Are we going to be hopping on, just throw on a pair of glasses and then hop into the game? And then, it becomes a whole verse. What's that? The multiverse?
Metaverse. I was going to ask, like, does anyone understand what that is? Because it confuses the hell out of me.
I hate.
I feel like it's Sims, but, technology, I don't know. I don't understand.
It's Sims through a first-person view, and then they're also, it's also a way for people to justify NFTs.
Well,
It's just a whole nother way to justify NFTs past what it already has become for some reason. So
garbage.
Money laundering. That's what it is.
what'd you say?
It's money laundering. That's what NFT
buy
is.
my
Well,
ape.
yeah.
I own this
hate
digital
NFTs.
monkey that isn't real, and it's $4 million.
Bro, did you see my
I
monkey?
mean, I guess they're making a
Have you
movie
guys
of
seen?
it now.
Have you guys seen the ad on your phones? It might be just the type of games I play on my phone, but it's like you can buy real life locations in a fictional universe, and you can make money off them. Like the ad was, I bought my teacher's house who said I would never gonna be anything in this app, and now I'm making money off.
What?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
really weird. I have no
You can
idea.
buy parcels of land in like the metaverse and like real parcels of like
Yeah,
I know
quotations around
somebody.
real.
like I could
I know
buy like a
somebody-
portion of like the Eiffel Tower in the metaverse.
Whoa.
I know someone that legitimately spent over 10 grand
Oh.
doing that
Oh
already.
my gosh.
Now, it could be a big thing. This dude might have made a really smart decision, like Bitcoin regret all
Right.
over for not buying it. But personally, I think
Gamble.
that's really, really, really stupid.
They're just selling things that aren't real.
Oh, NFTs.
There's just fake
anything
value.
like it are garbage. Yes.
But then again, I mean, it gets the whole. This is something I can speak to because I'm educated in my art minor, kinda. Not really.
Hell yeah.
But anyway, okay, NFTs are digital art. Other art is just like paint on canvas or whatever you want to call it. It really has no intrinsic value, right? And although, yes, it's a physical thing, maybe NFTs are like the new medium as we digitize and get into this digital realm. Like, imagine if you spent your entire workday inside the metaverse interacting with all of your colleagues or
You
coworkers.
can with Oculus. That's already a thing.
Really?
You can
That's
buy,
nuts.
it's called like Workplace or something like that. I almost bought it because you can have like a
Workplace.
web browser on your on the headset, and you can search through the internet, do work and whatever. Like you can watch movies on there. I played poker on there for like 3 hours and just had conversations with random people.
We're in
That's-
danger. This is-
Go play outside. Like,
So yeah, you can. Back to the point, you can already do a lot of your
Touch
work
grass.
in there. You can watch Netflix, and like you can sit in a movie theater and watch a movie in the headset.
And Lord knows you can probably Netflix and chill in there too.
Yeah, I haven't tried anything like that, but I'm sure there's stuff out there. Well, the Quest is very limited, just because like it doesn't have as much as when you're hooked up to the actual computer.
I'm a
Right.
computer. But
Up, over, down.
Stop all the downloading. Man, that's. I mean, I just learned a whole bunch of new stuff right there, and that blows my mind. Number one, I think that's really cool technology. Number two, that is freaking terrifying. And here comes Matthew.
may we welcome
Oh,
Matthew.
Hey,
Welcome.
how we doing?
What's up?
How we doing? Where's that camera?
Where's
of
your
yours?
face?
Coming.
He's loading
Hey,
in.
there he is.
Hey,
How we
Hey.
doing?
I'm all right.
All right. Well, thanks for
right,
hopping
all
on
right,
here
all
with
right.
us.
I'm better now.
We've
That's
missed your
for sure.
That's
presence.
good. That's good.
that's good.
Oh.
Oh. Well, we've been
Well-
talking about, we've touched on chips in heads, prosthetics, and I'd love to ask how you feel about the changing up of genes and the alteration of such. And Brad can explain further, but
We're talking about designer babies.
Yeah, kind
Yes,
of.
we
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, CRISPR. Matt, CRISPR babies. What are your thoughts?
What are my thoughts?
Just to preface, yeah, CRISPR was that topic that I put a pin in earlier. Just
thank you.
the option for parents to go to a doctor or go to a specialist and essentially handpick the genes, the traits that they want their kids to have, regardless of if their bodies would have created those traits. So creates a very strange ethical debate there.
Yeah. So my opinion on that is that the United States should absolutely. It's very much so. To start, it's cheesy reference, and I know Nathan, I've used this reference with Brad before because we were in biology classes together. But once you open the box, you cannot put it back in the box. And my opinion on this is it really doesn't matter how you at home feel about this, or how any of the doctors and the PhDs working on it feel about it ethically. If the United States doesn't start to use it as soon as it's possible, other people will.
That is true, yeah.
People with means will do it regardless of how they can. So, if you're sitting there and you have the expendable income to make your child 6'2", blonde hair, blue eyes, basically Nathan. Yeah, basically Nathan.
7% body fat and just a ridiculous amount of muscle.
Great metabolism, predisposed to have a higher IQ, everything like that. You would, technically speaking, if
extreme
you have
flexibility,
that whatever that is.
If you have the
Nathan's a CRISPR baby.
Basically, pretty much, he's an alien.
He's Kyle XY. He doesn't have a belly button.
But if you have the expendable income, why the hell wouldn't you do it? So basically, if you live in the United States and you have the expendable income, and you and your partner are trying to have kids, why wouldn't you go over and get artificially inseminated in a lab in China or Russia or Japan, whatever? Because whether or not, what do you think? A hospital's not going to treat you, or a gynecologist isn't going to see you here because you got inseminated in Japan? They're not going to care. And they have to treat you anyway. So, it doesn't matter. So as soon as it's, a possibility, and other countries are like, we don't give a shit. It's over. I don't really think it's right. Because then you're just going to basically, at that point, arguably, you'll have two species of human, because there will be the people who can, artificially pick and choose the genes, which I think will create more intelligent people. And then also, if that's the way you're moving with inserts and stuff like that, then people will get really, really smart. And so you'll basically have a superhuman people, and then people who are just,
We kind of talked about that earlier with the chip in the head, the boundaries of money and shit like that. So.
It all comes back to money. Shocker.
But that's a cool, literally, biology or, computer science, or a mix of both. It all comes down to keeping the poor people down and the few rich people at the top, and that sucks.
So, a huge overarching question with this whole topic is, obviously, it's a thing with CRISPR, because you're completely modifying how a child is born. But with everything else, it's also modifying how you're able to live on a daily basis. At what point in this whole process are you playing God? Or
as soon as you start. I think.
So have we already gotten there with
God's
prosthetics?
abandoned us.
You got me feeling like Ian Malcolm saying we shouldn't be playing God and making dinosaurs. I feel like we've had this conversation.
That's a conversation for another day.
We need to make dinosaurs, but
you can't put it back in the box.
I love Jurassic Park.
I want to go mammoth hunting. I'm sorry. Continue. I'm sorry.
No, just to branch back into Brad.
You can go anything hunting after that, once you can start making any animal you want.
Hot take. The Jeff Goldblum memes are the best part of Jurassic Park. It's a great... I love all the movies. I'm just saying.
Can we remove Matt from the episode again?
I'll delete him.
Did you see Nathan's face when I said that? Did anybody else look at Nathan's face? Because I did.
Yes, he was not vibing.
Disappointment.
And it was worth me saying it, because clearly I don't actually feel that way, but I just wanted to see his reaction.
So yeah, we're playing God pretty hard.
Back to God.
They're doing hybrid human-animal experiments over there. They're called humansies. I'm more or less kidding, but and I'm not going to throw shade at other countries. Despite every country's done bad things, I feel bad for all the people that live in every country, including
the United
America.
States of America. We haven't done anything bad. Come on, man.
I'm saying that. I'm saying that too. But anyway, I'm sure there's some Skunk Works underground division of crazy super science shit going on in every country, and they have technology so wildly more advanced than what we can see. I would be surprised if they haven't done experiments in the direction of biology, CRISPR, all that editing gene stuff, and in cybernetic chip interface with your brain crazy. Or probably both. I mean, they're competing to stay ahead of each other, and competition drives innovation. So that's a good thing. It's just we have to use this stuff ethically and carefully. And sometimes I don't think a lot of powers do that, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a good thing until Captain America comes from China and kills us.
I was just thinking, I was like, literally the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
I mean, it becomes a point, are like these superpower countries able to just create a super army of controlled beings? And that's a whole other ethical issue. But yeah, I feel like, Brad, just back to your point, and I know Matt mentioned it, I feel like it's almost a cliff. I feel like we're teetering closer and closer, then it's almost just a drop off. And it's like, yes, we are messing with things that we almost eventually will not be able to control, even though in every movie they always say, no, we have it handled.
Right.
The dinosaurs, per se, always get out.
We're flirting with it for sure.
Yeah.
Let me put it to you like this. Okay, so you can change or look at like one set of genes. They tell you these couple, these 500 base pairs right here determine or have a pretty good, like they can give you between X and Y, like numbers of, if it's this, if, the genes look like this, then your IQ is going to be that. At the very least, you're telling me that you're not going to put your kid in the high IQ bin?
Okay,
like
so
if that's the only thing you're doing, like IQ, you wouldn't do that for your kid?
That is, if we're able to do that, that's scary, first off. But I think it's also a good thing, too, because obviously we have it now with sperm banks and whatnot, that you're able to potentially, get donors and whatnot. But I feel like it's also a good thing if you're able to design it. I feel like the only good positive note is that you can design it to basically be your child, right? Like if the couple is unable, to produce a child for whatever unfortunate reason, that they're able to, have a baby that may look like them.
Or fix deficiencies like...
Yeah, exactly.
Down syndrome.
That is a great point.
Like that.
Yeah.
And here's...
Healthy babies.
I feel like that's how they get their foot in their door, though. Like that's how they, like, even with Elon Musk and Neuralink, and when I read their website, they're like, "This is going to fix dementia," and that's how they get their foot in their door. And they're like, "Oh yeah, now we can make you super strong."
I mean, Elon's one kid is literally named like Beep Bop
X equals MC squared E.
Literally a robot.
Probably Warhol.
Then he later said, "Yeah, I actually regret that," or something. Whatever he said about it. Someone asked him about his kid, and he was like, "What?" He's like, "Oh, yeah, my kid. That's what I named it. Or them. I don't know, he or her." But yeah, man, that's a touchy subject with babies. But
there needs to be, I suppose, some form of regulation that's like...
There always is supposed to be.
I know, but what I'm saying
this is how the sci-fi movies start.
This is how the dinosaurs get out.
What I'm saying is like, okay, we can use this technology, and if your kid is predetermined, we can detect he has or she has a, like Matt said, like a 95% chance of getting, I don't want to be rude, let's just say Down syndrome, okay? That child is not going to have, I suppose, the advantages that come with not having Down syndrome, growing up, and I mean having a life expectancy. Hello, Matt, and stuff like that. So the regulation could say like, okay, we can correct this issue, and your child will be born without this genetic disorder. But you can't turn the dial up on the brains or the
I feel like
muscles.
that, just like Brad said, that's playing God, and almost to a scary point. We're making like the next Clark Kent or whatever. So
yeah, I mean, and it's also just like the prosthetics, where it's like you use it to a point where you're just trying to put everyone on a level playing field, and then you have the people that are going to go way overboard. It's the same thing. The only difference is it's on a genetic level compared to a matter of limbs.
it's a scale, just trying to stay on equal levels here, Brad.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, it might just be us being scared of change too. Like, it might be the next step in evolution, it's going to come from the top down, which sucks. But 100 years out, after technology becomes more available and everyone has it, it could just be the next step, and we're afraid of it.
Okay.
I'm a traditionalist. What?
You're a purist.
No, I mean, look, if I lose my leg tomorrow, I definitely want a replacement that is perfect or very close to what my leg was, if not better. It is going to come from the top down, but I forget who mentioned that it would create two species. Like, the people that can afford this first and continue to be able to afford this are always going to have a leg up on the people. Yeah. You could be Superman.
You can make the argument now, though, with medication as it is. They're gonna have better access to
I know, that's what I'm saying.
They won't need medication.
Superman, they can be Omni-Man or Goku or a mix of both of them. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
and you're still Michael.
Yeah, probably. I'm gonna go live in the woods. That's
I
my.
feel like
I'm
it's
gonna
all
return.
good until it, like everyone says, until it just hits a point, and then it becomes bad. Not in all circumstances, but certainly in a lot. And just to kind of jump off to another point, in an ethical dilemma on the other age of babies and all this sort of different talk, what about anti-aging technology? Is there
I'm going to talk
possibility?
I'm about to take it to an extreme.
Like, is it okay? Would you want to live for hundreds of years? I don't know.
I
don't think we're ever going to get there.
Carbon.
What did you say?
Have you guys ever seen the show Altered Carbon?
Oh, great television.
No, I have not. I remember
the first season was amazing.
Yeah, second season was kind of rough, I'm not going to lie. So this is kind of what I did my end of course on in that class we've been talking about, and it was like kind of like living forever, the ethical dilemma, which I want you guys to talk about.
Yeah.
I already talked about it for 25 minutes, so you know how I think about it. But I didn't realize when I did that speech in class that article I was talking about was already 10 years old.
Wow.
And they had, and I didn't, that's bad, me being a bad student, but they at that time had already mapped out and downloaded a part of a rat's brain, and they thought 10 years from then, that was 2009, that they could do a full human's brain, which I don't think we're at. Maybe we are and we don't know about it, but I think that's kind of crazy that we could get to that point of downloading human consciousness already, maybe around 2022, if not in the near future. But then if you could do that, you could theoretically live forever, but it raises questions of, like, is it actually you? Is it actually your consciousness? Is it your soul? Exactly.
I think the question in terms of that type of thing is, so clearly in Altered Carbon, it's like a television show, and the whole idea is that, like, your consciousness is in, like, a chip in the back of your neck. And so all these people, so basically bodies, like, are just like, they're like, you know,
puppets for the chip.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So there, like, clearly the person's consciousness isn't altered, so somebody can be, they call it, like, being down for, like, hundreds of years, and then you could just be put back into a body one day, and then you're like, it's you again. But the reality is like, if you're actually uploaded to a computer, does that consciousness continue to evolve and interact with people as you would have? And my guess is that it won't happen, and it won't work well, and people will just... they'll do it a few times, it won't work well, people will be like, that is not my husband, and then it will get, deleted.
No, I think the same thing. I don't think your soul and conscious can they can't download that. Like, it's not you, it's a version of you, but I feel like you'd be more robotic than anything.
Yeah, I think that you'd be able to, like, talk about, if you brought up a specific time or a memory or something like that, they would be able to interact with you about that memory because it would be, you know, like downloaded in your consciousness, and they would be able to have like a new discourse with you about that memory. But outside of that, like, I don't think they would be able to evolve anymore after the time of death, or download, I guess.
I saw something it's a bit further than Altered Carbon. It was a mind blower of like I think it was an independent film. I don't quite remember the name, but okay. So it's in the near-ish future, and it's husband and wife, and the guy wants to basically do this thing where he uploads consciousness to a computer, and you have like a chip in your head, so at the moment of your death, your consciousness can go to this like black box, so to speak, and it's this big computer, and then you, as that dead person, it's like trapping your soul, and you can make phone calls out of this black box to your dead or your still alive loved ones. But you can only stay there for a certain amount of time, and then I guess the data corrupts, and then your whole world crumbles, and you go on, you die for real.
A Black Mirror.
So the whole movie, you know, it's almost like a Black Mirror episode, but the whole movie is this guy, he gets in a car wreck and his wife dies, and he's a computer scientist, of course, because movies, so he's working on a way to build a perfect robot body, and then he's going to download his wife from this black box, race against time into this robot, and she's going to be there forever, and it's going to, you know, happy life. But then it turns out that he's the one that died, and he's inside the black box, and it was all simulated, and the phone calls that he was getting from her are actually, it's revert. It was nuts. But that's just like the psychological, like, next level horror stuff that we could be actually creating, and that terrifies me. Sorry, that was long-winded, but
What dies, they put their consciousness into a teddy bear.
I liked it. I enjoyed it.
That was... if I can find it, I'll send you guys the link and probably post it on
please
one
do.
of our social medias. But
I mean, so two sides to it. It's like you said, the Johnny Depp movie Transcendence, it's like the same thing. Like, he's a master of AI, and then he eventually wants to live forever and put himself into the cloud. So that's kind of like the idea everyone's been talking about. And Wilder, I think I agree with you guys. I think that it's not going to be the same person in some which way, because we are humans. We are here, and I don't think a robot or any sort of kind of next generational technology can kind of duplicate that yet. But then there's the other side of it, like of the actual, like, so we have the technology, say, to make us live longer. So we're not actually uploading our body or mind into something. Like, we can just live 200 more years. Is that something you'd ever want to do? Is that a bad idea?
Take my brain and put it in a cyborg body. We're good to go. So it's still me. It's still my brain. I haven't died off yet. It's just you replace all of my organs with cybernetics.
is the soul in your brain, though? All
right, I took that really to extreme, really fast. But
good.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what this show.
I feel
is
like medicine should always progress, and yeah, you should be able to live longer.
I have
to the point where it's not even you anymore.
I have a weird perspective because of my just extreme fear of dying, like
anxiety,
super irrational, and I want to be able to say, yeah, I'd love to live for literally as long as possible. But from a race standpoint, like us as humans, like we would populate overpopulate so fast, and it's like what
over.
I don't know. It would just create so many issues. Yeah, it would create so many issues. We wouldn't have any room on Earth. We'd need to expand into the water somehow.
Into the metaverse.
Yeah, like kind of like the point I was making. Like, if you become like a cyborg, though, like it expands how you're able to explore. And I kind of talked about that in the class too on my final, which was all over the place. But if you're in a body that doesn't need to breathe, or a body that doesn't need to eat, just needs to plug into an outlet and charge up like a Tesla or something, you could be on a spaceship flying thousands of years out into space to find a new home. I think it would just it expand how much the human body could do.
Then that's just like, you know, you see in the Alien movies, it's like, that's just like a hypersleep, you know, and well, you're conscious, but you're not, you know, so I don't know. See, you get joy from doing all these things, right? As a human, it's like, I think most of us love eating, like a nice Taco Bell, 10, 11:30 at night, crushing some T-Bell and some Baja, you know. That's an exciting thing.
Don't you leave it out. Don't you leave that
come on, son.
Kill me when I can't enjoy a Baja Blast.
Pull the plug.
Yeah, let's just take the Baja Blast and pour it on the hard drive.
My brain's out.
Hard drive.
Yeah, we're talking like this, and I want to die at like 70 anyways.
For this
you hate
entire
old people
episode.
for some reason.
Yeah, you do.
I'm talking like I want to live forever.
Well,
honestly,
I
tell
think
my girlfriend all the time I want to die at like 75. As soon as I can't wipe my own butt, just off me. Throw me in the woods.
Just throw me in the trash.
throw my body in the river. I don't care. I'm dead. Well, that took a dark turn. But okay, hear me out. The thing, it isn't about getting older and older. It's about maintaining your quality of life. So if I can still like walk and do shit, and I'm Yoda, I'm 900 years old, and I can do flips and shit. Why not? You know, like,
right. So say you're able to like, we get this technology when we're like 55, and then you're 55 for the rest of your life until, I don't know, you off yourself. I don't know, but
you choose to turn it off.
Yeah, that's the question. Then what do you do? I don't know.
Let's if we dial that back to like 30, maybe. Ooh. This is sick. I think it's sick to me. I love sci-fi movies.
RCE.
Return to Monkey. I hope if the random chimp event happens, put me in a monkey body and I'll survive. But
yeah, Michael, I think that you would do really well in that post-apocalyptic situation.
Well,
you're very hairy. They would just think that you were one of them.
Exactly. I'd eat a few bugs to survive. You got to do what you got to do.
Hakuna Matata, buddy. You're good.
Anyways,
slimy yet satisfying.
Anyway, so there's a movie, and it's more mainstream. It's older. It's called In Time, if you've seen it. And again, it's the common theme. It goes back to money. Basically, they halt the aging process at the age of 25. So
yep, I know
our ages.
I thought it was you only had like 25 years of time.
So no. You age naturally until you're 25. Then they put a year on your clock. It's like a thing on your wrist, and it counts down, and that's your money. So all the rich people can live forever, and all the poor people are like constantly running around,
arm wrestling for money.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really cool concept, and I mean, it turns into like a bank robbing movie. It's interesting, but yeah, what do you think about that? I mean, the one dude in the movie in the beginning, he chose to die, like, and he had over 100 years on his clock or whatever. So, I mean, he seemed pretty depressed after being like 120.
I feel like that's what it gets to. Some people, they're either so alone, or I don't know, maybe they don't have that same drive, the same exciting things to happen, like they've experienced life to the fullest. Was that Justin Timberlake in that movie? Was he the one who started that?
He was.
Dang,
I feel like
I remember that movie.
Love me some JT.
Say something.
Maybe this is going to be, well, I think this is going to be profound. Maybe what half of the life experience is just you never know how long you got, so you gotta enjoy every waking moment. Now, I struggle with this because I go to work every morning, and sometimes that's not enjoyable. I'm sure you guys feel the same, except for you, Jordan. You get to fly damn airplanes, and that sounds like it's lit.
It gets boring after a while.
Michael, to your point about the movie, it's like the point of that movie is, well, in our life, no amount of money can buy a second at a time, right? It's not like that in that movie, so that kind of creates that whole idea and what that may be like. I don't know, man. Like you said, you just got to live life to the fullest sometimes when you can. But I don't know. That's why I think we do this, to have a little fun and just enjoy each other's company.
That movie gave me a lot of anxiety watching it. Like, it was like an actual, like, it. You never, like what Nate was talking about, you gotta enjoy life. So that movie actually, like, visually showed how much time you have left. And, like, when they were doing that whole arm wrestling scene for, like, time, like, it's just so much anxiety, letting it run down to, like, the last minute and then getting it back. But it shows, like, I don't know how to put it into words, but you should live every moment to the best because they know how much time they have left, but you actually don't.
That's it.
I think that's why I had anxiety.
Man.
Oh, that's positive notes from the mob, from us to you. That's terrifying. Wow, I'm gonna stay up at night.
Tell your loved ones that you love them too. That's important.
Call your mother.
I call my
Tell
mom.
her thank you.
Trust me, you should absolutely do that.
Yes.
I talk to that lady every day.
Well,
Do you guys remember the show JJ the Jet Plane?
Did he have like a face on?
I'm
like,
picturing like a cartoon plane.
on there?
Maybe it was green or red. I don't remember.
Yeah, he was blue.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Dang.
Okay.
Some new lore drop for JJ the Jet.
No, I was thinking of Jordan being a pilot, and then I was relating that to transhumanism, and it's like, would Jordan be out of a job if we created like a
Drones.
human plane hybrid? Like JJ the Jet Plane?
So you're saying Lightning McQueen, but a plane.
The plane.
The movie
They get a
Planes.
plane.
Choo-choo!
Yeah.
No, my job already consists of pushing like
fast.
3 buttons and riding a plane to wherever I got to go and then landing it. I don't need anything else being taken away from us.
I was thinking of jobs just becoming obsolete because of, or like people becoming obsolete in certain positions, and I just thought of pilots because like JJ the Jet Plane, like if you can have a human face on a plane,
It's terrifying.
I would do that.
Life is a highway.
No, honestly, best case scenario for my job, if it's not taken away from AI, is I get to sit there and make sure the AI works.
I was gonna say, if anything,
And
you
I'm
could
just
be
the backup.
like controlling the drone or plane per se, or like watching over it. But
I just got, for the job that I work at, without saying the name of the company, our new product it's a nuclear power plant, so that'll probably give it away. There's probably like 3 companies that do that, but I got to do simulator training.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
I don't know. I can describe a bit of it without. No one's going to understand what the hell I'm talking about from just my words, but in old nuclear power plants, their control rooms are straight from the 60s, and there's big buttons and paper readouts and crazy stuff all over the place, because these things are kind of hard to control. There's almost like an AI system, so to speak, or at least a very complicated like control system that prevents our new plant from failing in an unsafe way. If you lose power, the plant literally will shut itself off with no human intervention for 72 hours just by like passive cooling and stuff like that. That's nuts, because like it's really, I mean, to me, it's really, really complicated. Like there's a lot going on, and I just can't, I mean, to the automation point, like if they're already automating some of the most complex jobs, I'd say, like a pilot, possibly air traffic control, nuclear plant operator, everything, buses, truck drivers even. How are we gonna like live, man? Like that's how we break the cycle, and it doesn't go back to money because money won't be worth anything because no one can make any money. So then what do you do? Like,
It sounds like a
then we're
weird
back
form
to
of communism, like it with technology.
Michael, we got the people at the
No.
top, and then all of us way down here
but how do they control us if they don't have any money?
because they make the
Either.
money by owning the robots for all of the jobs.
But if every job is a robot, Matt wants to say
Someone still
I'm
owns
so
the
confused.
robots. Matt, please.
So what happens is we get to a point where everybody is equal and there's no disparity or whatever. There are too many people. I don't know what. But so we get to the point where everything is so screwed up and whatever that you just get put into a simulation that's like exactly what we're living in now, where you actually have to work for your shit and pay your dues to feel fulfilled in your life. And then
we just figured out reality.
You expire, and then you come out of it, and you're like, "What's this?" They're like, "This is actually reality. You just like busted your ass for 95 years."
Well, who's to say
that makes you happy?
Who's to say we aren't already?
We might be. We might be. After we die, and it's like
we're in a level 3 simulator.
Am I the 1,400-pound
person?
Who's
making another simulator?
Am I the 1,400-pound person on the ship in Wall-E? Tell me, Matt. Am I right now?
I don't know.
Probably. I saw.
Imagine just waking
really
up and then a
meme.
robot's telling you that you have to repopulate the planet and like start planning shit.
I saw a really funny meme, and it was, you know, those little silica gel packets that come in like shoes and stuff, and they say on them, like, do not eat.
Yeah.
So the dude, he's looking at it, he eats it, and then he wakes up, he's like, "Congrats, you escaped the simulation." I'm gonna go try it right now.
Michael,
Everyone
Mission failed.
Silica packets.
Group suicide.
On stream.
Oh.
you eat the rat poison, and then you come out of the simulation. You won. You beat evolution.
So, congrats. Here's your desk job. Go. Oh.
Let's just do it right now.
I'm kind of curious.
This is a stress ball. I'm gonna need this right now.
Is that a brick?
It is a brick.
I like
TV when the Steelers do bad, or when I question my own sanity, which this podcast has made me do about 5 times already. So
I like when people make stress balls out of like actual things. Like I've seen people make them out of like a game controller. So then if you're actually mad, you can just throw
it
the stress ball. So then you don't.
I need a
break the
chair. It's
controller.
foam. Just throw it at the wall.
And FYI, Michael has broken like 2 of our chairs during our college years.
I'm okay.
I'm fine. I'm fine. Storms out of the room. Doesn't hear from him for 2 hours.
I bet you there was a couple times me and Brad were sitting in the room and just hear a loud bang, and we're like, "What was that?"
Yep.
And we never put 2 and 2 together. That was probably my fault.
There was a dark time.
I specifically remember coming out into the hallway from all the way down our hall, and I heard him slam the chair.
Matt and I walking back to our room, and we just hear a big "fuck." And we're like, there it is.
I'm okay. Yeah, he said. What a great. And then Nathan was all upset because the two of them were rooming together.
I was pissed.
Had absolutely destroyed this chair, and then Matt came to the rescue and said, "Wait, there are desk chairs at the end of the hall," and we switched them out. Yeah, that's the second time I saved your ass on getting charged. Like,
clutch.
Remember when you absolutely destroyed your closet door freshman year?
Hey man,
That wasn't me.
Engineering school.
That wasn't me.
I threw knives at doors. I did that. Yes.
And you know, Matt saved us on that.
Except they charge you $5 for that little piece of metal.
Yeah, it was $50
If I was
for cleaning.
transhuman, I would just
Of course.
download my engineering degree off of DeVry University right into my
Build
head.
a bridge. Do it. They go. Yep. Done.
Phoenix University.
The eternal online education.
Hey, I'm down for it. I'm done with all this studying stuff.
You're
I'm over
still in
it.
debt.
That would be really cool, right? And it's like, oh, let me study
I'm
this.
done with it.
It's like, boom, I got it. But then it's like, what are the point of tests if people can just download the latest black market, study guide, cheat sheet? Check.
Essentially what we
Check
did anyway.
explicit. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
I just want to download all the FAA regulations into my head so I don't have to memorize them. No, after that,
lots
I'm
of
fine. Yeah, there's the thousands.
Probably like 10, right? Just don't fly too low. Don't
fly too
There's
high.
one like
Don't
that.
run into each
Fly too
other
high.
up in the
They're
skies.
all conditional, too. There's all thousands of conditions for each one.
That's a lot
read
of
the
damage.
procedure. Oh,
Michael, did you
my
know if you fly high enough, the sun is always shining?
unless you're like on the opposite side of the earth.
Yo, I saw some
Orbits.
graph the other day, not to go back to our space topic. But it
I'm
was
so
like-
mad I missed that, by the way.
I know. We can. It's a
Don't do-
deep
don't do
topic. We can go back
We'll do
to it.
more.
But it's just
I
the
love
sheer
aliens.
size of like us versus like the sun and like, you know, all the planets in comparison. It's wild. To wrap it back into transhumanism, though, as we're going off our little tangent, I know there's a show that Matt and I have both watched. You guys have probably heard about it. It's on Apple TV. It's called Severance. And if you haven't heard of it, basically the premise is there's this company, and they hire you, or you go to them, and you can basically split your work life, 9 to 5, and then your personal life. You have no recollection, no memory. There's 2 separate lives, basically. You go into the elevator downstairs, you walk into work, your work person is back. Like they're conscious.
And the place is called Lumen. So the person who works at Lumen is called your innie, and then your normal self is called your outie.
Yeah. And it's like a super trippy idea, and I'm just curious, like, would you guys even consider that?
Are you still sore after work? Like, if you're doing physical work and you're turned off, you're doing physical work, when you come back, are you sore? Are you in danger?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Matt and I, so we don't go like into spoilers or anything. Like something happens during work, you go out of work physically the same.
Yeah. So like in one of the earlier episodes, somebody
don't
gets
say
hit
much
in the.
about it, but
I'm not going to like
it's
just somebody just
fantastic.
like gets hit in the face and then they get a cut.
Yeah.
So then they put in like that guy's jacket as he leaves. Like something happened to Mark S at work today. And now, like, there's a Band-Aid, and then they gave him, like, an Advil, I think, in the note.
Yeah, and like a gift card.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But would you ever like want
Yeah.
to split your life entirely?
So do they?
Not would you ever, but how much money would it take?
Not
In
much.
the show, is it an option, or is everyone in any and an out?
Yeah, it's just
It is an option. So
Okay.
each person.
Oh, wait, so you have people who are conscious working with
No.
you, not conscious?
I don't know.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, that changes
He
it.
can't. Okay.
I'm not saying anything about the show.
Matt,
So, like-
king of spoilers.
It's a first episode
100%.
thing. It's a first 15 minutes. Come on. It's
Just keep ruining it.
The point is, so usually the people who come to work as like grunts at this company, who actually just do the work, they usually have a reason for doing so. It's usually, you know, something terrible, you know, outside of work that made their personal life, you know, hell or whatever. They want to just be able to split the two entirely. So everyone has the choice to do it. Yeah. So.
But like, wouldn't you want to know what you're like? What if my job was shoveling kittens into a furnace and I didn't know I was doing that? I couldn't live with
That's
myself.
not on you, man.
Like,
Well,
that's nuts.
it's like what if like, okay, your wife comes home and she's pregnant and she works at this place.
What?
That's on you,
That's
man.
what you waited to do.
Shoveling kittens into a furnace.
I mean,
What kind of job is that?
Alternative energy source could that possibly?
That is the true
It's
fossil
called lumen. It
fuel.
reminds me of lights. Where do you get the energy from that? Burning something. What if it was cats
Nuclear energy.
or dogs? Or,
You're right. Coal
people?
impacts the environment
dogs.
too much. We're done with coal. Straight to kittens. Let's go.
There's a lot of stray cats in the world. I mean, I don't like
I
cats.
mean, they all deserve a home.
Yeah, Michael, you're the one who has a cat.
Yeah, and she's a bitch, but I love her to death. I wouldn't put Soxy Cat into a furnace.
PETA is hearing this right now. They're raiding your house.
Good.
So you're telling me I can make $500K a year, not have to think or focus on work? If you can guarantee my safety and my family's safety, I'd be down. I'd do it.
Interesting.
Not knowing what I like, being that I know nothing about the show, I'm sure there's some issues with it.
Yeah.
I'll say yes.
Yeah, right.
Is
So,
the
like,
limit
you know, with the
500K?
job, you know, it's not like a physical demanding job. It's not like you're doing labor or something like
Yeah.
that. It's an office job, basically.
Just out of pure ignorance, I'll say yes.
Office job, yes. I
Even
like that.
seeing the show, I would say yes.
Are
Really?
they making big money? Like,
Yeah,
we're making
$500,000.
Yeah.
no, but in the show, are they making big money? Or is it just like,
No, not
is that not
particularly.
discussed?
It's not really discussed, but I would assume that they don't make, like, we're saying $500,000. I would assume, Nathan. I mean, do you agree they're not making?
They're not making that money, but I'm sure they're comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, they might be making six figures.
Sure, yeah, I would agree with that.
Fair.
I would hope so.
Think too,
they'd give you that much if you're willing to do that, but
think about it too. At that point, you're again literally trading your time for money, because you spend currently, let's just say, 40 hours normal work week. That's 40 hours that you don't remember that you traded for six-figure salary.
Yeah.
Hey, Shmoney.
Sometimes, you read the Dilbert at work and it gives you a chuckle here and there, and you don't want to kill yourself for a hot second, but you know what I mean? Like, sometimes work could be enjoyable, I suppose.
That's where I'm at. If it's like a job I do right now, and I've seen the show, so it's hard. I'm trying not to be biased on it. I want to say no, I wouldn't do it, but I can see why any person would want to.
You're a blooded American.
Yeah. I mean, and to Michael's point too, like flying a plane, I wouldn't want to be not conscious of that, because like, there's gonna be some beautiful points in my career that I'm gonna want to see and be there for. So I wouldn't but if you're working an office job, fuck yeah, I would do it.
You're like Denzel, who just safely landed that plane. You're like, Jordan, great job. You're like, no idea, thank you.
Well, like seriously, that shit happens. Like just yesterday, I landed a plane where the brake stopped working.
Oh.
It was scary as hell. And I flew it back home, too.
I inverted the bird and landed it safely topside.
I'm drunk right now.
Somebody get movie. These motherfucking snakes.
We had a spider on the plane the other day, and someone said that.
That's awesome.
Fucking spider up this motherfucking plane.
Motherfucker.
Back to I mean, this is calling way back to Nathan's the virtual reality portion. If you guys going into a virtual reality, if you could make any video game right now a virtual reality game, or like be sucked into a metaverse of a specific video game, what are you guys picking?
Damn, that's a hell of a question. It's like I always see like questions on Reddit whenever like discussion boards. It's really the same thing. It's like the last game you played, you just got sucked into the world, and it's like, are you alive or are you gonna die? But
the last game I played was Elden Ring, so I'm dead.
You're fucked. Yeah,
I'm driving down Rainbow Road in Mario Kart 8.
You're probably dying too.
I'm probably dead.
I'm in a game called The Long Dark, where the goal is you're in the Canadian wilderness after a geostorm knocked out all the power and made the animals very aggressive. Survive. Yeah, I'm fucking getting killed by a moose.
Too.
Dead immediately.
You couldn't have
Great game, by the way. Fantastic game.
Could you imagine like a game like No Man's Sky or something like that, though?
That's what. So back to Brad's question. Whew. I would want to pick like some of my favorite games, like The Last of Us. That would be horrible, but that would be really cool at the same time. Yeah, exactly. So I'm probably dying, right? But it'd be really cool. More on a realistic perspective, No Man's Sky would be really sick.
Well, there's PC games that are like No Man's Sky, but way better with bigger communities and like way more in depth.
Subnautica would be really cool.
Oh man, that'd be rough.
Cyberpunk would be pretty sick.
We're headed there now.
See in about 55 years. That's a heck of a question. I think really any game that you enjoy, any open world game would be really sweet.
Open world games.
Hell, even like Red Dead. Like you're basically just going back in time at that point. I mean, you may not have the best quality. You may die at like 32, but it'd be really cool. Be a cowboy, but.
If you voluntarily go into a Dark Souls game, you're dying in seconds. Either that, or you're going to be extremely depressed.
You died.
Yeah, that's when you choose to end your life. They just put you in a Dark Souls game, and that just you die. That's it.
I'd want to be in Wii Sports Resort.
Brad on the tennis court. Yeah.
Just the sword dueling. running down the bridge, just swinging as hard as I can.
No,
Can I be
himself in the
me?
PGA Tour.
The Wii Sports music never ever turns
Oh my
off.
gosh. Can you guys bowl? And then, like, Michael, you can go bowling. Then I'll be the me in the back. When you flip it backwards, I'll be, hey! And spin around. That is my life
to have
for
arms and
eternity.
then not have arms multiple times. You know how the Mii's, like, their arms pop out?
They're
to,
like
pick
dots.
up the
Yeah,
ball.
they're like...
Or the Rocket League characters. Those little just smudges on the screen.
The eggs. That's, yes. The egg people.
You'd be the Cars. Kerchoo! You could be
That would
like,
be crazy though, like kind of on the same lines of what Brad was asking, but like being in a video game where you just controlled your mind, like controlled the game with your mind instead of having to control with a controller.
So
Like,
essentially a lucid dream.
So it's like...
But like Rocket,
Sorry, go ahead.
but like Rocket League, it's a very mechanical game. But if you could
Right.
just control with a chip in your brain, how much better all
Right.
of us would be versus like people who have slower reaction times and stuff like that, or like first-person shooters. That'd be nuts.
I'd be like,
I think
I'm
that's
gonna
I
do
kind
this
of
wall flip, and then I still fail because I can't do it.
Can't get a flip reset.
that's kind of what I meant to portray in my original question. I just didn't do it the right way. but
Sorry.
That's
We
No,
went
no.
off.
So, what game would you
I'm
go into
sorry.
that you could control like virtual reality, but like a higher level of it?
Okay, so...
definitely Smash, and I want to feel all the pain. So,
Gandalf's coming for you.
I want to live in a metaverse
That
where we can all
big.
play games together and we just live together playing video games.
Purple.
yeah, you four play Rocket League, and I'll be the ball.
I'm coming
That
for you,
would
boy.
hurt. Oh.
I love Matt's Funja face. He's just sitting there.
Michael,
Sorry.
you are the pickaxe in Fortnite. And every time you hit, it goes E, E, E.
Just getting beat to death.
Also, I'm pretty sure
But you never
the picture
die.
in the background was the picture that like 50% of our class used for
I believe
our
you're right.
podcasts
Little-
or our whatever they're called.
It's like,
Well-
it has a famous name. It's like God giving... Right? Isn't that like a big... The original image or picture is
The Sistine
Something-
Chapel or something like that.
Yeah.
something like that. Some of that
But it's a
Vatican-esque.
mechanical arm, so it's transhumanism. You wouldn't know, but it's okay.
You're right.
wouldn't.
But,
Loser.
you know, I'm hoping, you know, maybe 200, 300 years from now, it's going to be all the rich people. They're going to be like robot cyborgs, right? And then there's going to be a computer virus, and all the rest of us, we retake the Earth.
I think we'll
Yeah.
all be in our forever sleeps at that point in time.
Yeah, it's actually
You know
something
what?
we haven't talked about either. It's like people who froze their bodies for like that technology to come out later. I don't know if that's what you meant by forever sleep, but that's something I was looking up before this.
All those people are dead.
Walt Disney.
Walt
They're
Disney,
not,
yeah.
and they're not coming back.
Mickey's going
You
to get
never
the thumb.
know.
Let me tell you, putting a brand on ice is not going to work.
Disney has a lot of money, though. They could Imagineers. They
I would
could make
say.
the bodies work, and then
Did anybody see the Chip and Dale trailer that I sent this morning?
I did.
I did not watch it.
I did not watch that either. I'm sorry.
Well,
It was a busy day at the office doing things that I can't recall because it was my other person.
Michael, that's great. Yeah, so you can split your minds. So then you don't have to worry about it. Just come home. You're good to go.
I just
Exactly.
have split personality disorder and a turn off during work. He gets a lot ruder though.
Well, this has been a great discussion on transhumanism. I'm glad Michael has been able to learn something today.
Exactly. That's exactly
Thank
what I
you
was going to
all.
say.
That was the whole goal of today. Well, this is the mob with Matt, Jordan, Brad, Michael, and myself checking out here. Thanks for tuning in, guys. E.
What's that sound? It's the MOBcast.